but you're still going to buy that big, expensive lithium battery.
Yeah, here's the other thing, like there's future battery technology that's going to come out, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have the solid state batteries. I think Toyota's already working on solid state batteries, which are far better, far safer. You don't have to worry about, fires with water intrusion and saltwater corrosion and all that stuff. Even people say they're sealed. Yeah, they're sealed, but I mean, you don't know how long those seals last, especially if it's 10 years old. You're going to trust that seal? I don't trust 10-year-old seals on anything.
Yeah, we're going to get a picture to drop in this video later, but I've got a picture of a jump box that I own 2 of, and Chuck, the shop, owns one, and it's a lithium battery, and it's catching on fire. And we leave them plugged in overnight in our shop on our toolbox. Now, everything's metal, concrete, whatever, but there's cars, there's fumes, there's stuff. I imagine somehow we could get a fire going, but it makes you think a lot. Yeah. Only charge them during the day when you can watch them.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Even then,
I think really the biggest thing with the guys that are like, just hardcore EV Tesla bros is they just have been convinced that using fossil fuels is the devil.
Yeah.
And they don't want any kind of fossil fuel.
I think there's other reasons. I mean, I think that's one reason. I don't think
there's one.
Yeah.
Do we want to look at a couple comments from the previous episode?
Sure, man. Let's talk about it.
Thousands. Let's pull up one of these and let's see if we can see this on screen.
Okay.
Oh, that's too small. Hang on.
It's so easy these days to...
So what YouTube channels are legit? Yeah. I think you're supposed to say, see what YouTube channel. If you're going to roast us.
It's so easy these days.
I mean, come on.
All right. I've got to report about these so that I can actually.
Come on, Uncle Richard.
It's so easy these days to see what YouTube channels are legit and which ones are whores taking money from
oil conglomerates.
Wow.
This is the most defining.
This one is definitely the latter.
The latter. Okay.
So he's the one that thinks that we're getting paid from ExxonMobil.
Are you getting oil or money from oil companies? Shit.
Moving right along.
Man, I'm missing out.
I had nothing to say because I think
this was a question that came up often, but many people. Would an EV driving on a snow-covered roads that have been treated with salt, like they do in a lot of parts of the country, is there a risk of the battery catching fire in a situation like that?
That's a good question.
So I see a lot of cars that have rust in certain areas that were mountain cars up in Colorado as opposed to road cars in Colorado, because in Denver area, they do not use salt on the roads, but in the mountains they do.
Okay.
Because you can't get their device, whatever they're doing with the trucks, up into the mountains, so there's still salt scattering. So salt certainly permeates the metal and makes a big problem. We know that from the beaches of Florida. We know that from all the roads.
You got the Rust Belt, Ohio area, Michigan, all that.
So to me, if there's a void in the sealed battery case, then yes, moisture is going to protrude. If moisture protrudes and that moisture is based with salt, then yes, it's going to get in there. And that causes some of the alkalinity and then does what its thing. Now, apparently these batteries don't need all that. They are failing. There are fires, just like with lithium products across the world. It is happening.
Well, yeah, you got cell phones. You got cell phone. You got e-bike batteries exploding in the dude's hand in the elevator. We've seen all kinds of weird stuff.
And I wonder about these cars coming out of China. Are they Daihatsus? Are they really coming out cheaper? Are they made better? I remember Hyundai and Kia, when they came out, they were cheap, bro. Cheap. Technology was not good. I was Daihatsu brand, and Daihatsu used to make TVs, but they also made trucks, and that's why I talk about them. My dad had one.
All right, we got another one here.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is my favorite comment. My brother and I had electric vehicles decades ago. They had excellent acceleration. They were inexpensive to operate, and most of all, they were fun. The biggest drawback was that sometimes we took a corner too fast, and the guide pin would jump out of the slot in the track, and the car would fly off the table.
The slot cars.
I love that.
You have a lot of likes there.
Who wrote that?
Ruben.
Thank you to Ruben Hubert for the comic relief.
Yeah, it's awesome, brother. Thank you.
He had a lot of likes for that.
Yeah. Let me tell you that some friends of mine, Joe Milstead and his wife, they have one of the, I think it's the 4th largest slot car track center in Vero Beach, Florida. So big shout out to them.
People still do that?
Oh my God!
Really?
We're going to go out there and we're going to race.
Ruben,
you
you're going to have to.
We're going to, Ruben.
Ruben, you can still do it, man. You can still have that fun. Just keep those pens in.
Yeah.
All right. And the last one I got here They're just explaining the part of what's going on when the salt water comes in. Salt water is actually a good electrical conductor. You'll find it in shorts that it shorts out the circuits and the battery. It's not the corrosive nature, but the conductivity aspect that's causing the fire.
Sure.
Yeah, granted. But like Kenny, like you pointed out, there's corrosion involved in
absolutely
the seals breaking down and the water getting in there in the first place.
Yeah,
So.
go get on a boat that's been sitting in the salt water and open the engine bay and just look. It's massive. And Chris, you put this up, so you described the episode and what the intentions of this episode was. This is our everybody's calling the EV show, but
we're in Florida. There's hurricanes. Hurricanes bring lots of water.
Yeah.
Salt water.
Yeah. And salt water and EVs don't mix. And we talked about it. It was on a podcast. It wasn't a show dedicated to that. It was just a part of the segment.
Nobody was
of
out
the
to
podcast.
piss anybody off. We wanted to bring information. It was more of a news story.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? Yeah, battery packs are sealed. Yes, we understand they're sealed, but seals go bad, and you don't know when. And there was even one of the links in the articles that we talked about is in the description of that previous video. Go check it out if you want. It's on our channel. You might even link it down here or up there. I don't know. But there's even fire chiefs that said that once the water gets in there, they don't automatically catch on fire immediately. They become like a time bomb.
Right.
Tow truck drivers, and this is on ABC News. So this isn't us just finding this. You can Google it. Tow truck drivers, when they tow these things, they put them in the lot more than 50 feet away from anything else that could catch on fire because they don't know if it's eventually going to just combust because they don't know if there has been water intrusion into the battery packs.
That's crazy.
That's kind of the issue.
It's for insurance purposes.
It's a lot of the unknowns. Yeah, I know they don't have as many fires as internal combustion. But here's the thing. Internal combustion engines, I don't really know I've ever seen them just light on fire.
Oh, yeah. Oil leaks will get an exhaust manifold and puff up there on some insulation, and all of a sudden you got a fire.
In the middle of the night when you're sleeping?
Oh, no. Oh, well, Ford had a recall a long time ago on the Taurus, 10 years, 15 years ago, where the ignition switch would just catch on fire and burn air. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And some have had it, man. I mean, there's recalls and all this stuff. But no, not from sitting charging. And the big thing was that car that we did show was in a hurricane on the beaches of Florida and not in the ocean, but it was in a garage. And the house did burn because of it, but the people had evacuated and with their gas-powered cars that go a lot farther. And they didn't have to worry about running out of time to charge it somewhere down the road.
Like I said, I'm not trying to bash EVs. I think there's a place for them. I think there's a place for them. There is a place for it. And the biggest issue that a lot of people that are very anti-EV is the fact that what makes it so divisive is if they're forcing it down people's throats. Like, you have to buy an electric car. You can't have your gas guzzler. We won't allow you. Can keep an old one.
That's what we've heard.
Yeah, you can have an old one, but going forward, they won't manufacture them anymore. I know somebody's going to Google that and said, oh yeah, they'll manufacture them until they're 2030. I understand it, but it's the whole being forced to do something that you have no interest in. That's the problem that a lot of people have. Right. And on top of that, the infrastructure isn't there. And I know people say, oh, the infrastructure's there. There's electricity everywhere. Yes, you can plug them in and you can charge them in places, but that's not just the infrastructure that it takes to have a vehicle. Right. You have to be able to maintain it. And there's just simply not the shops available to maintain an EV like you can a gas-powered car right now. I can bring my truck to Kenny and have it repaired in a day, depending on what's wrong with it. He can get a part within 4 hours. There are EV specialists who fix EVs, and that's what they do. They don't know what part to order until they've had it taken apart, which takes a day, and then they have to order the part, which can be a 15 to 30 day lead time. That's not me making that up. EV specialists that do this, EV Solutions, I believe on YouTube, we might link their channel down below. They fix EVs. That's what they do, and that's what they've said. And then on top of that, just to put them on a lift and to jack them, if you jack them in the wrong spot, now you've damaged the battery. There's another hazard. Okay, and now if you damage that $25,000 battery at Dolphin Auto, guess what Dolphin Auto gets to buy? The $25,000 battery. And I mean, that's the infrastructure. Yeah. That's just a small part of maintaining it.
Hybrids, and that we like hybrids.
I do.
But you sent me a link on a story, Chris, about a hybrid that right here in Brevard County that caught on fire.
Yesterday.
and they had to put it out,
Yep.
but it caught on fire. Do we know why?
I don't know why. I think we got some pictures of it.
Because we still have the
put
gas engine in there, and it could have had an oil leak. It could have broken an oil line. DeLoreans were famous for having a fuel line melt right above the top of their engine, and it would shoot on the engine hot, and it would catch them on fire. It's just a thing.
They said they called it. There it is. They called it a hybrid electric. So I don't know. And that was the news calling it that. So I don't know if it was a plug-in hybrid. So I don't know what kind of battery pack it had. It obviously burned to the ground.
It looked like it started in the front. To me, it looked like it started in the front, and that is where the gas engine is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have no idea what started this.
Man, roach.
But it was parked in the parking lot and just lit on fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was damage to the building to it.
Well, it wasn't a gas engine because it's just, that it wasn't hot. It wasn't running. It wasn't sending fuel through. It wasn't whatever. So something happened.
Yeah. I'm not really sure. Could have been water intrusion from a week ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Anything's possible.
That's all conjecture. We don't know. We're not saying that is what it was. Just some old boys from Florida that saw something on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank everybody for just the incredible amount of comments and participation in that last post. Well, it's not the last one at this point, but
no, we've had a few. So go check out the other ones too.